Hello, my name is Joshua Gallo, and today I would like to discuss some lessons I have learned from some of my pastoral mentors. Every person, regardless of their occupation or calling, should have a mentor, someone who can give advice and wisdom from their own experiences so that you can learn life lessons earlier and perhaps easier. Recently, I had the privilege to meet with two of my pastors to discuss topics related to healthy pastorship. Pastor Steve Shoup, my youth pastor, and Pastor Cameron McDaniel, my young adults pastor. Through our conversations, I learned lessons on four different topics that I want to share with you today. The first topic was about how to set healthy boundaries when serving in ministry. According to Jody Detrick, the chairperson for the National Network for Women in Ministry, setting good boundaries is tied to the fruit of self-control, which might be the most overlooked fruit of the Spirit. With this, Pastor Steve advised me to know your role, that is to stay in your lane. When this is done, it helps prevent ministry burnout. Furthermore, Pastor Cameron told me that a way he establishes his boundaries is he makes evenings about family, not ministry. Barring extenuating circumstances, he prioritizes his time with his family and suggests I do the same to balance out ministry with my personal life in a healthy manner. The second topic was about how to regularly grow in your personal walk with Jesus. In the article Leadership Lessons from Moses, I learned that Moses grew in his walk with God through humility and obedience, even when he was afraid or doubtful of God. Like how Jethro mentored Moses in these areas, Pastor Steve counseled me to develop personal disciplines that ultimately led to humility and obedience to God. He walked me through his personal disciplines of prayer and reading the Bible every morning, and he told me how he incorporates a quiet time of worship. Similarly, Pastor Cameron reads supplementary material alongside Scripture to get a better understanding of biblical passages, and he also prays every day. Prayer and Bible reading will definitely lead to a deeper relationship with God. The third topic was about how to appropriately manage emotions. In his article Self-Differentiation and the Christian Leader, Peter Dobson points out that a characteristic of a self-differentiated person is non-reactivity, meaning that no matter how intense the emotional levels are in the room at any given time, it is good to remain calm. Now, Pastor Steve noted that Jesus himself got emotionally involved with his disciples, but he did so in a healthy way, where he genuinely loved them and helped them have peace in the midst of struggle, and that happens through conversations with them. Furthermore, Pastor Cameron said that if you see someone that is acting out of their typical social character, ask them directly how they are doing. Don't make assumptions based on what you see, but rather converse with them to see if they are doing well emotionally. The last topic was about how to adapt as the social environment changes. Andrea Lathrop defines a paradigm as a way of thinking, something that shapes a person's mental framework, and a shift in paradigms do happen in many aspects of life. Consequently, a church leader needs to be flexible not only when circumstances in disciple making change, but also when the way things are typically done changes, as Pastor Steve expressed to me. Moreover, Pastor Cameron said that change in ministry is inevitable, whether it happens naturally or as a result of something specific that happens, like some conflict between people, for instance. With this, every situation needs to be viewed from a biblical perspective, not one's own perspective, so that adapting to the situation becomes more about helping others and less about yourself. After I met with my mentors for the class assignments and examined their answers to my questions, I realized a few lessons that are implied in the wisdom they passed on to me. The first thing is practicality. Even though we serve a God of unlimited power, we should still be realistic in ministering, from setting goals to remembering that everyone, including ourselves, are still sinful human beings in a broken world. Another lesson is to rest in God's grace. Church leaders are to do their best with whatever ministry God gives them. But without His grace, we will find ourselves trying to bear a burden that only God can help us with and ultimately guide us in carrying. And finally, I learned that we should have a heavenly attitude in that we are working for God's kingdom and glory, and not ours. This will help us persevere as ministry gets tough. In conclusion, I believe I am now better equipped to enter into ministry, and I will try my best to live out the advice my pastors gave me. I will set healthy boundaries, practice spiritual growth for the sake of my own relationship with Jesus, properly handle emotions in whatever circumstances I find myself, and will be more flexible as life changes. In addition to these, I will remember to be practical in all ministry affairs, rest in God's grace for everything, and keep an attitude focused on heaven, seeing that this is all for God's glory and kingdom. I am grateful for my pastors in mentoring me, and thank you for listening.